removal people as well. The Global Center for the Responsibility to Protect, they produced in September this year, they produced a work and mentioned that more than 120 militias and armed groups actively operating in Ituri, North Kivu, South Kivu, and Tanganyika provinces. All of those provinces are located in the eastern part of the DRC. So many of these rebellions regularly perpetrate widespread violations and abuses against civilians that may amount to crimes against humanity and war crimes. And let me mention mostly that the violations are most targeting women. Women are being raped. Women are being brutalized sexually. Others are being mutilated. So shameful, but it has existed in my home country. Women and girls have been raped, as I've been saying, and some men as well. Men were also raped. Men could rape men, women could rape also men, and women could be raped by men, and girls could be raped by men. So most of the people who commit these gendered atrocities have never been taken to justice, which worsened the situation. Only a handful were prosecuted internationally. Locally, nothing consistent has been done so far. We expect these people to respond of their evils they have committed to people and to the environment as well. Moreover, the DRC is a patriarchal society where social norms hinder the rights of women and girls, a gendered discrimination built in society. Traditional norms encourage gendered discrimination. They encourage men to view women as second-class persons. This works via gendered task distribution, where boys and girls are educated differently. The boy is educated to become an independent man, but the girl is educated to remain submissive to men, and her place is in the kitchen. She is deprived of education indeed. So what is gender? I'm going to talk briefly about gender because those who presented in the past, they widely talked about gender. So I'm not going to insist on gender, but I raise it because it is connected to my topic. So gender is a social construct that socializes men and women with separate education based on societal norms. Society prepares boys to become men, respected and free, and the girls to become women, women who are obedient and women who are confined to the kitchen. Because of these gendered norms, women cannot enjoy their rights. They are even denied their basic rights, such as education, fair trial. Example, in my country, in DRC, a woman taking her man to justice for abuse is often returned back. The agents of justice will tell her, no, go back home, sort this issue with your husband. This is a husband-wife issue. It should be sorted out here. On the other hand, also a man abused by the wife will fear to report, for he looks emasculated in public. He decided to sit on his hell, although he has been abused. And some men would say, oh, what kind of woman is taking her husband to justice? This is not a woman. And in such a situation, many men fear to go to justice. But they are being abused as well, abused in society, abused in community, abused in the family. So what is justice? Justice, in its broadest sense, is the concept that individuals are to be treated in a manner that is equitable and fair. The establishment or determination of rights according to the rules of law or equity. This also means justice, or justice can mean the quality of conforming to law. The maintenance or administration of what is just, especially by the impartial adjustment of conflicting claims or the assignment of merited rewards or punishment, can also be considered as justice. So a society in which gendered justice has been achieved would be a society in which both men and women receive what they deserve, and not only men and women, but also other genders. The interpretation of what deserve includes ethics, rationality, law, religion, equity, and fairness. Fairness. So the state may be said to pursue justice by operating courts that enforce the rules in the country. Now, what are categories of justice? Justice has got different forms, different categories. So justice is an action in accordance with the requirement of some law, whether these rules are grounded in human consensus or societal norms. They are supposed to ensure that all members of society receive fair treatment. Perceived injustices separate males and females, leading to dissatisfaction, rebellion, or revolution. This is what is causing more and more unending armed conflict in the Democratic Republic of Congo. There exist various forms of justices, but we are going to consider just some. Each of the different spheres expresses the principles of justice and fairness in its own way, resulting in different types and concepts of justice. So we're going to talk about distributive and procedural justices. So distributive and procedural, retributive and restorative, those are the categories of justices we're going to overlook quickly here below. These types of justice have important implications for socioeconomic, political, civil, and criminal justice at both national and international levels. So the first one is distributive justice or economic justice. This is concerned with giving all members of community, all members of society, a fair share of the benefits and resources available. However, while everyone might agree that wealth should be distributed fairly, there is much disagreement about what counts as a fair share. So the second category of justice is procedural justice. This is kind of justice which is making and implementing decisions according to fair processes that ensure fair treatment. Rules must be impartially followed and consistently applied in order to generate an unbiased decision. Now, we have retributive justice. This appeals the idea that people, I mean females and males, deserve to be treated in the same way they treat others. Now, because there is a tendency to slip from retributive justice to an emphasis of revenge, some suggest that restorative justice processes are more effective, while a retributive justice approach conceives of transgression as crimes against the state or nation. Restorative justice focuses on violations as crimes against individual. The next point I'm going to talk about is how should justice work? Every community needs justice because people commit mistakes. People do evils. And whenever people do evils, they must expect to face the hand of justice. So we need a society that is fair. Fairness can mean war-free. So we need social justice. Get peace. There is no peace because if I talk about my DRC, there is no peace because the country has dormant or unfair justice. Justice ensures that men and women get the essentials for good life, which is impossible when there is war, because war kills people and war kills the ecosystem. War kills animals, trees, stones, water. War is war. It damages everything. So justice means fairness and that men and women have access to basic things. Access to food, shelter, and clean water are the big three when there is peace. If there is no peace, water becomes spoiled. If there is peace, there is no shelter, there is no food. And this is why people die for different reasons when there is war. In certain societies, these are often taken for granted among the majority of the population, but there are always gaps. War tarnishes social justice. The government should ensure that the people have peace. With peace, and anyone breaking it should endure. Let me repeat this. With peace, we must make sure that those who are breaking that peace are getting sanctioned based on the mistake they committed. So in the case of the DRC and outside the country, those who have raped women or created conditions leading to gendered abuse, rape and related abuses should be answerable regardless of their origin or status. Not because you are a president, not because you are a minister, not because you are a teacher, not because you are a pastor, not because you are ABC. When you commit a mistake, if we have justice in a country, that justice should apply to everybody equally. Nobody should be above the law. So I think the DRC, in collaboration with international bodies dealing with justice, should track and lock up those who disturb social justice in the country. May they be internal or external agents, they should see the long hand of justice. Now, let's see how justice works in DRC. So justice and DRC cyclic conflicts. I'm not going to get deeply into details, but I'll just overview some key points. So in April 2002, the DRC ratified the Rome Statute, and in April 2004, referred the situation on its territory since the 1st of July 2002 to the ICC. ICC, this is the International Criminal Court. The ICC, therefore, may exercise its jurisdiction over crimes listed in the Rome Statute committed on the territory of the DRC and by its nationals from the 1st of July 2002 onwards. However, some criminals still enjoy life over those they killed and injured in various ways. This is unfair. This is what I was saying here above, that justice should apply to everybody, no matter of the social status, no matter of the gender, no matter of the origin. Everybody who does evil in the community should face justice in case this justice exists, is not dormant. The ICC investigations in the DRC have focused on alleged war crimes and crimes against humanity committed mainly in eastern DRC, in the Ituri region and the North and South Kivu provinces. So Ituri, North Kivu, South Kivu are also other provinces in eastern DRC. And these crimes against humanity committed in these provinces have been alleged war crimes since July 1st, 2002. The investigation led to a number of cases which have involved charges that include the following crimes: war crimes, enlisting and conscripting child soldiers under age of 15 years, and using them to participate actively in hostilities. So children have been enrolled by force to join the militia And these children are the ones they are using to rape women, to rape girls, and to rape other men. They are being manipulated. Everything they do, I think their commanders, their leaders should be answerable for this, because these are still children. So these children, just the hostilities, they commit murder and attempted murder, willful killing, attacking civilians, raping women and men, sexual slavery of civilians, pillaging, displacing civilians, attacking protected objects, destroying property, rape, sexual slavery, mutilation, cruel treatment, torture, destruction of property, and so on. There is a long list that are listed under war crimes, according to the Rome Statutes. So let's move on. Crimes against humanity. This is the second category of crimes. So these include murder and attempted murder, torture, rape, sexual slavery, inhuman acts, persecution, forcible transfer of population, attacking a civilian population, destroying property, pillaging, and many more. This was the office, such were decisions by the Office of the Prosecutor's first investigation, and which led to its 3 convictions. In the case of the prosecutor versus Thomas Lubanga Dilo, the prosecutor versus Germain Katanga, and the prosecutor versus Bosco Ntaganda, and the acquittal of Mr. Ngudojolo Chui. So these are people who were accused of committing crimes against humanity. So the situation I've been talking about here above, the situation had 6 cases, 7 warrants of arrest, 1 in custody, and 1 at large. As I said, I'm not going to get into deep details. Probably most of the time we are allocated. So let's move on. Many other cases of rape and causing national instability have never been taken to justice, some being members of the government, national army, and some units of the UN in DRC, and many others, even civilians, have been involved in raping women because there is instability, there is conflict, there is war. Many international bodies have offered to help in restoring peace, but in vain. Most of them are busy looting the country's minerals and timber to build their countries, and many others take the money they get from these minerals and timber, they swell their pockets, and this is what they call leading the country. So Congolese leaders must think twice on building sustainable peace in the country. And there cannot be sustainable peace if justice is still dormant, if justice is inactive, if justice is unfair. Everybody committing mistakes, may it be in the country or outside the country, justice should be working and make sure social justice is restored. Justice in the DRC needs to be severely active and impartial, value men and women so that social justice can be effective in this country. So I think this is the end of my presentation, and here are the references from where I got some information. And I thank you very much for your attention, and God bless you.
Can we give our Dr. Mogishu a round of applause in different ways, please, in our chat room? Thank you so very much, Dr. Mogishu, for that insightful and thought-provoking presentation. Your deep expertise and passion for gender justice, especially in the context of conflict-affected regions like the Democratic Republic of Congo, have really, during this presentation, given us all a valuable perspective on the challenges and opportunities for change. That's why we are here for best practices. your work with COFAPRI as well, and your tireless advocacy for women and children's empowerment is truly inspiring. So we greatly appreciate your time and knowledge you've shared with us today. And so thank you again, Dr. Mugisho, for this enlightening contribution. We want
Thanks,
to
thanks a
thank
lot,
all those.
Rosalind.
Yes, we want to
Rosalind,
thank
we
all
can
those.
take one or two questions
Of course,
after
that's
every.
where I'm going. That's where I'm going, Dr. Shimanes. Thank you very much, Dr. Dr. Mugisho. We definitely are not leaving you, Dr. Mugisho, because we are opening the floor for one or two questions from our participants who have been listening to you with keen attention. So if you have any questions, you have two options to take right now. You can either drop the question in the chat room, or you click the raise your hand button and you'll be given the floor to speak. I can already, do we have anyone who has raised their hand? Please just click the raise your hand button and you'll be given the floor to ask your questions. Feel free as well to also drop any additional comment or feedback that you may want to share. So we're giving ourselves 1 or 2 minutes for this. So kindly ask your questions or share any feedback.
Somebody has, Nafisatu, someone has raised.
Okay, so we are going to hear from one of those who has raised the hand. Please, can you ask or unmute your microphone and ask your question? Thank you.
Hello.
Yeah, hello, we're getting you 5 on 5. Please just go straight away to your question.
Okay, man. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
All right.
Thank you, Dr. Mugisho, for that wonderful presentation. I just want to know, I don't know if it's a question or a concern. In a case wherein justice is being failed to serve to certain people in a particular country, what should be done or what should we do?
Thank you, Nafisatu, for your question. I think this is what I said. DRC should liaise with international organizations, international bodies that deal with justice, because DRC alone, I know it's my country and its justice is dormant. Alone, DRC cannot reach out to those people who might have fled outside. Even those who are inside are not easy to reach out.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. We are moving straight away to the next question, and it is coming from Kabasi Corinne, who says, is this injustice still occurring presently in your country?
Yes, this injustice is still there, although the intensity is not as it started in 2016, but it not to 2016, but 2006. But it is still there. I think you listen to the news, you see what is happening in North Kivu, Goma, and in some province, in some areas in South Kivu, where masses of people are being displaced. And I think yesterday in Goma, people were on the street demanding peace. They need peace. Yeah.
All right. The next participant wants to ask a question. Miza Ahmed, can you unmute your microphone and ask your question? Thank you.
Yeah, I must congratulate the speaker for the wonderful speech, and the information he has provided are vital to understanding the politics over there. However, the question that I would like to ask is, what is the geopolitical issue that gets embroiled with these atrocities that you have described in your presentation? What is the geopolitical issue?
Thank you, Amez. I'm sorry, I will not give you enough information about this for some reasons, but the geopolitical issue is that DRC is a country that is rich in minerals, and the minerals are attracting many people locally, internationally, and these minerals are causing people, let me say, people who have eyes on those minerals are trying to have a hand on the minerals and create a lot of turmoil, a lot of disorder, so that because when there is war, nothing is controlled, they benefit from getting the minerals. But geopolitically speaking, there are many countries involved in the issue, and yeah.
Okay.
I think one of the reasons is that the country has been in a state of armed conflict for over 30 years. There are
That is one of the vital, This is one of the vital reasons, besides that, you have certain other issues like, the interference, the global interference, especially interference of the global south, is also a major factor. It's also a major factor contributing to these issues.
So the question is that why the superpower are not intervening in the situation of countries like Congo and Nigeria when they are always ready to interfere in the internal matter of Middle East?
The problem.
This is a question. Sorry.
The problem which is there is that the minerals of DRC, let's take the coltan. You have telephones, I have telephone. Those are telephones that are being manufactured from the coltan that is coming from DRC. And in order to have those coltan, people die. So those telephones we are handling the blood of Congolese. So the Western countries cannot end the war because they benefit of those minerals. And in case there is peace, some companies that, for example, manufacture arms and bullets will not have materials to make their bullets. So those companies have to exist. And in order to exist, they have to get minerals that will be building guns, that will be manufacturing guns and bullets. So Congo should be, you see what it means.
All right, I will definitely just cut short that because we still have 2 questions.
Sure.
Dr. Mugisho?
Yes, I'm around.
I don't know if you got the question. Something was asked by Gatmai, who said, how can justice be applied in a country with no justice like South Sudan? And then Carlon, who says, with these kind of challenges that they are facing, how is the country handling care community?
I think if there is no peace, justice cannot work as well. The authorities should liaise among themselves to bring peace. And when there is peace, then justice can be effective. Because if justice is not working, it means that there is something wrong in the management of the country. And it might be that some leaders are taking justice as their own tool they can be using to hinder some people, to reduce some people to ashes. So that is the answer I could provide.
All right, thank you so very much. Rex, can you just quickly ask your question? We have just 1 minute, 30 seconds for this session to come to an end.
Thank you very much for the facilitators of this particular course. I just want to quickly ask, what is the best global practice of gender? In which countries are the most country that is using gender platforms to make waves that are impactful in the population? Okay, let me make it straight. Which country can we copy as an example of a gender compliant country in the whole wide world? Is there indices Is there geopolitical zones about that?
Okay. That is a very tricky question, but I'm not sure I can find the exact answer to give you. But issue of gender is culture, and culture is specific to every community. And I can't say that there is a global culture. There are global traditions that can apply everywhere. If you go, for example, to my home country, where some people still believe a girl shouldn't go to school, they rather prefer the boy than the girl because they say the girl is being educated. We are enriching the family in which she will be married. But let us send our son to school because the son is with us. So this will not apply in America. This will not apply maybe in Australia. So for that, I don't know if there can be a model where we can say this is where we apply gender. Again, I think the problem that is there, we shouldn't be copying blindly what other people are doing. If we applying gender in our context, we try not to abuse women, we try to be fair. I think that is the way we should do it, but not copy America, not copy Australia or China. I don't know.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Mugisho. And Gadi says justice and peace go hand in hand, and I think one can exist without the other. Can you please comment on this?
Yeah, that is absolutely true. That is what I was explaining. If there is no peace, justice is dead. It is peace that makes justice be effective. It is peace that makes justice be working in a given community.
All right, thank you very much. And I end by actually citing this very good comment from Gavin, who says that it's so unfortunate that the mainstream media always keeps a blind eye on Congo's situation. This double standard should really stop. So in a nutshell, we all see that the media too is like an actor in everything. They can make or mar. So we also need to always bring them into such discussions. Thank you so very much, Dr. Mugisho. We are so blessed to have you respond to the insightful questions. And we are also grateful to the participants for showing us that they were really following your presentation with keen and rapt attention. So we are moving on to the next presentation. Thank you, Dr. Mugisho. You can now warm your seat.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Right. Now we are moving on to the next in line, and we have our second speaker for the day, who is actually, anyway, let me start by saying that it's an honor for me to introduce such an esteemed speaker, Rana Basharat Ali Khan, a distinguished British Pakistani social humanitarian motivational speaker and globally recognized peace activist with over 3 decades of unwavering commitment to human rights. Rana Basharat has been a tireless advocate for justice, equality, and social reform. As the founder and president of the International Human Rights Movement, his work has been centered around giving a voice to the marginalized, regardless of religion, caste, or nationality. As a seasoned representative for the United Nations in human rights, Rana Basharat Ali Khan has challenged governments and power structures worldwide to uphold international human rights laws, combat discrimination, and protect victims of conflicts. His steadfast dedication to promoting global peace, gender equality, and social justice has inspired countless individuals and organizations to pursue change. Today, Rana Basharat Ali Khan will be sharing his invaluable insights on the topic, gender, justice, and global peace. Please join me in welcoming him as he takes the stage. You're welcome, Rana Basharat.
Hello.
Hello, we get you 5 on 5.
All right, thank you. Sorry, my laptop connection was disconnected, so I'll start from my phone. I want to say thank you, first of all, for Global Peace Let's Talk and our wonderful chairperson and a great human, Nikki, and the entire team for Global Peace Let's Talk to organizing this wonderful event. Before I start the subject for today, I want all the listeners, please switch on your video cameras so at least we can understand that you are serious and you are here to attend and learn from our experience. This is something will move you up to raise yourself and give us little encouragement to speak from our hearts. So we will understand that people are listening. I want to see all of you switching on your video camera so that we can start. Please.
Let me join Rana. Switch on your cameras, please. Switch on your cameras. He needs audience and he needs attention from all of us. So let's switch on our cameras. Please, thank you.
Okay. First of all, I want to say this subject is very close to my heart as a million of other people, especially the people who are here to listen and learn about this issue, which is very sensitive and long due to discuss. First, as a human being, and then a follower of the different religion, Islam, Hinduism, Christianity, Sikhism, or even not non-believers. We understand that every single religion teaches us respect for every single human. When we study Islam, Sikhism, Hinduism, Christianity, Buddhism, or any religion, they said respect for humanity. I never ever come across to learn or read or understand that any religion say, oh, respect only for a woman, or respect only for a man, or respect only for this class. No. So when they speak about respect for every human. This is what the first learning we'll learn being as a religion person. Then the second learning platform, it is our home, where we learn how to respect our mother, how to respect our sisters, our family member. So this is a learning procedure which we start from our birth until we die. We learn these kind of information, respect for other religion, for other gender, and this procedure is moving on. If we look at ourselves surrounding where we are, people from India, people from Pakistan, people from Ghana, Africa, Canada, or other part of the world, why we want to come today to attend this meeting? This is the first question. If I'm a man, why I want to learn and why I want to attend this wonderful meeting? This is a question we need to ask ourselves. If I'm a woman, this is the same question I need to understand. Do we still need to learn more about this subject while learning from our home, learning from our religion is not enough? I believe no. Learning from religion, learning from home is enough. But then why we, in age of 40, 50, student, ambassador, professor, doctor, we are still part of these kind of meetings? Yes, this is a question you need to ask yourself. Write down your question. I will ask randomly few individuals that why you want to attend the meeting today. You have a 2 minutes to answer yourself, not for me, not for yourself, just on your paper or in your mind, then I will ask. Okay, the second point, if we come to these kind of meeting where the gender justice and humanity for everyone. As in my introduction, my colleague gave me a very powerful and amazing introduction. Thank you for that. But I asked this question for myself, spending 30 plus years working for humanity, standing for a justice, fighting for our equal rights around the world, from the school life to the student union, from the United Nations and around the world. What one thing I need to find, we all, I think someone get the mic on. Okay. We all learn the basic right for humanity. We all understand what is wrong and what is right, how to cross these limits, how to stay in a limit. But the problem, knowingly, we know everything legal or illegal, but we do not implement them. I know when I born, I learned this from my mother, like all of you learn, that we need to respect the woman, we need to respect the other culture, other religion, other community. But where the problem comes, why we get in these kind of trouble, why we engage ourselves in this kind of stuff. Yes, we listen it, we understand it, but somehow we do not want to believe. We do not want to believe that we all are equal. If I'm a woman, if I'm a man, we deserve the same respect. We deserve the same right. So this is a very strong message we need to take first to ourselves before we become a speaker, before we become a leader, before we go around and pass this information and pass this wonderful speakers topic to the other people. First, we need to walk away with ourselves. Yes, that if I'm a woman, what is my limit? If I'm a man, what is my limit? But for justice, for equality, for humanity, there is no limit. If I'm hungry, it does not make difference I'm a man or woman. If I'm standing somewhere, it's not make any difference woman or man. I deserve a respect, I deserve a respect. If I'm hungry, it's not make any difference who I am. I need a food to finish my hunger. That time, gender description will be stepped back. So this is how we have to treat ourselves. We need to learn that why we believe in living in 21st century, that there is some societies, some culture, or some so-called self-motivate religion leader call, no, this is something women can't do. This is something man can't do. We need to come forward and forcefully stand against these kind of injustice. We need to stand these kind of unhuman behavior. As a Muslim, what I learned from my religion, from my holy book, that every human born with the respect, with a equal right, and with the equal dignity. And the same thing, when I further up, I went to read Bible, what I learned from Christianity, the same thing God said in a Bible, every human born equal with a great respect and dignity. The same thing, when I went to study the Hinduism, what wonderful, continuously in a Hindu holy books, in a culture that respect for everyone. We have a right to live equally. This is not end here. Go read the Sikhism, Buddhism, any color, any religion. Go back to any country, in your own country. Law is equal for everyone. But when we want to implement on ourselves, forget about the government, forget about the societies, forget about your workplace, but how you implement this in your own self. If you're a brother, if you're a son, if you're a father, you have a responsibility to start justice from your home. You do not need to description between women and men. This is not something we learn. This is not something we're born with it. This is not something our religion or our society teach us. So this is the first part of what our religion told us, what our culture told us, what we learn from our families. Now let's step on a second stage, which is a more powerful, which is I need all of you to come forward and take today, sleep with this, that how you can change around yourself, because how you can bring a justice. Because I am a human rights worker. I am a founder chairman for International Human Rights Movement. We are working more than 62 countries with more than 100,000 members. We have a woman, we have a we have a man, we have a non-disclosure. They do not want to disclose who they are, he or she or him or her. With respect for everyone. This is what us make a human rights champion. This is what make me a human rights worker. I am in a learning procedure. Every day I learn new skill. The way today I am with you, I believe I will learn great and amazing stuff from people like you, from around the world, people from the different culture, from the Christianity, Hinduism, from India, from Bangladesh, from Pakistan, from students, from doctors, from nurses. This is why we want to learn. Might be sometime we feel that we are doing a right thing, but in the end we find that we are not right. We get annoyed. I'm still okay, or you want me to take the answer and question, please? Because
no, keep it up. Continue your presentation. We wanted to mute somebody else, and then we mistakenly. Sorry about that.
Thank you.
Right on, please.
Okay. Now let's look at around ourselves. The time period we are living right now. We have a wonderful United Nations with an amazing rule and regulation. We have an amazing organization, a European Union, OIC, Human Rights Justice, people like you who come from different backgrounds, different culture. Look at the organization, Global Peace, Let's Talk. These are organizations who feel that we need to do more, who encourage us, people like me. This is opportunity for all of us, that let's learn from each other. Let's learn how to give our respect. Let's learn how to fight. Mostly when I attend meetings, conference, or Zoom meetings, people mostly ask me, oh, we are not in a powerful position. We are not a government. We are not an organization. I am a student. I'm a professor. I'm a job keeper. I'm a housewife. How I can help the society? How I can bring the betterness for our society? My question is very simple. Every human is born leader. Let's read our holy book, what Allah said in the Quran when He born the first, create the first Adam. He said, you are my best creation among other creation. So same thing in Hinduism, Sikhism, Christianity, all the religion tell the human is the best creation of the God. When the God Almighty Allah said, "You are my best creation, you are the one who I proud myself," then how we cannot stand for a justice? If we cannot stand for a equality, if we cannot stand for my fellow woman, if we cannot stand for my co-worker who is working with me, if I cannot stand for her right, I do not have a right to say, call myself a gentleman, or call myself a human, even call myself a man. The same thing, if I'm a woman, if I cannot stand for a justice for any other woman, I do not have a right to stand for myself. I do not have a right to say I'm a woman. Forget about who you are. If you're a student, you have a great example. Let's take that one example from the Pakistan, Malala Yousafzai. In age of 12 or 13-year school running student, she stand up against that. No, I need a education. Education is my born right. I do not believe on this cultural barrier. I do not believe on this society barrier. She stand up. No, where she are. She's only a Nobel Peace Prize winner woman and girl from Pakistan. She's the only girl in a globally in out of 970 Global Peace Award winner. She's the only one who stand for education, and I believe she's the youngest a Nobel Peace Prize winner. This is an example for you. If you're a youth, if you're a student, if you're a teacher, if you're a housewife, if you're a shopkeeper, if you are a taxi driver, any of you can stand for any injustice. When you stand for injustice, it will not see who you are. It will not describe that you're a man or a woman. Malala Yousafzai is a great example for all of us. Let's look at further. Look at the Mahatma Gandhi, the greatest leader in Indian society. He fight for everyone. He fight for us. He fight for Indian. He fight for human right. He fight for his own right. This is what we have to stand for. This is what we have, what belief we need. We never have to give up. No, we are very, very powerful. No, the society is changed. We are living in digital era. Look at right this moment. I'm sitting in United Kingdom, in my home, in my dining table, in my office, people sitting from India, people sitting from Pakistan. We are connected with each other. We don't need to travel. We don't need to travel miles and miles away to meet the people. We have a social media power. Look at the regime change in the Middle East. From the social media dictatorship walk away. The kingdom, the forcefully leadership, so-called leadership will change. Look at the latest power what Bangladesh bring to us. Just from the social media, the young student, the one young student stand against the injustice ruling government. He said, enough. That one person sacrificed bring the change for whole Bangladesh. This is what we need. I am giving you my own example. I myself, in 2018, someone sent me a message, oh, look at what happened in Myanmar. Just one message. After that, my internet and my laptop and my mobile phone, within 7 working days, we organized the biggest protest ever happened in a history of United Kingdom for a Myanmar. So be yourself. Go back. Forget about what if this come from the Islam or if it's come from the Christianity. Believe this that somewhere, somehow, someone told you that God said you, Sangeeta, you, Nikki, you, Ahmed, you, Ejaz, you, Saira, you are my best creation. and I'm proud of you. When you will believe that someone somewhere is trusting you and saying you are the best creation he created. Look at how many creation we have around us. The latest science said we have more than 2 million living Christian around us. But you are best among them. Be yourself. Give this power to yourself that yes, I need to stand for a justice in my society. We are not asking you to come and fight physically. We are not demanding, we're not asking you to go back and pick up the weapon and fight. No, what we are asking you, go back yourself in your home. First, let's start with yourself. Give this belief to yourself that you are the best creation. It's not make different that you are a man, woman, or you are he or her or him or his. Believe this yourself. Then translate this belief to your first-hand connection, your colleague, your son, your daughter, your mother, your father, your grandfather. Then step forward. Go back to your city. This is what we need from you. This is what we want. I want all of my listeners in today meeting and rest of the social media. Believe this yourself that everything is possible. That only thing I need believe myself. I need to let the world that equal justice and humanity for everyone, regardless their color, culture, and their background. Thank you. If any of you have any question, please ask me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rana Basharat Alan Khan, for such a powerful and insightful presentation and your deep commitment to promoting global peace, human rights, and gender justice, along with your decades of experience in advocating for the marginalized, has truly enriched our understanding of these critical issues. Your perspectives on the intersection of gender, justice, and global peace have sparked meaningful reflection in all of us, I presume, and provided us with actionable insights. So we now, at this point, especially with the key takeaway from Basharat, he has actually given us a take-home message that we need to start with ourselves. So at this point, we are now inviting participants to join the conversation. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, please feel free to engage by clicking the raise your hand button, or you can share your thoughts in the chat box. And this is a wonderful opportunity to dive deeper into the topic with Khan Basharat or Rana Basharat, and especially with what he has discussed and explored how we can collectively work towards a more just and peaceful world. So if you are ready right now, please, if you have your questions, click the raise your hand button, and of course you will be given the floor to speak. And of course, we got a comment from Karina who says, I think it is not all about each individual, it's about inequality, especially around societies based on economic power, patriarchy, individualism, and consumerism. So these are some of the comments. So we have Queen Eva. If you want to speak, please, can you unmute your microphone? Then later on, we will hear from Nafisatu. So Queen Eva, can you unmute your microphone and speak?
Okay, thank you very much. And I want to thank us for this wonderful exchange again this week. And so yes, the presentation has been very interesting. But it's more talk about change. The change should start with us. I want to think that starting with us is good, is a good perception to start with us, but there is a lot more to that. depending on the society where we find ourselves. Some of us find ourselves in patriarchal societies whereby we don't have voice, like foster that change as we think. It becomes so difficult. To make a recommendation or a proposal, if this kind of teachings could like really go viral, so that it should be a global call to that change, I think it will go a long way. Thank you. Just a contribution.
Thank you very much, Queen Eva. And I will take the last question from the chat box before I come back to the three. We have Nafisatu. If you're listening to me, can you unmute your microphone and ask your question? Thank you.
Thank you, Ma. Thank you, Mr. Rana, for this wonderful presentation. I just want to know, if we are to have a gender-free society, what are the structures and strategy that we need to set for effective and efficient gender implementation?
I don't know
Hello?
if Mr. Rana was here before, because he actually had a network issue. Can you take your question again? I'm sure he's back in the room.
Okay. My question is, I said, what are the structures and strategy that we need to set for effective and efficient gender implementation in our society?
Thank you. Rana, over to you, please. Do we have Rana in the room, please? Our guest speaker. You have a question? It seems as if he may be having some network challenges.
I think sir is there. Rosalind, Rana Basharat Ali Khan is there.
Yeah, but can you unmute your microphone, Rana, please? Can we have Rana, please, if he is listening to us? Just unmute your microphone, and then you have some questions and hands awaiting your feedback, please.
Hello.
Hello, Rana, are you there?
Yes, sorry.
All right, please.
I'm back now.
Okay, please, Nafisatu, just ask your question one more time, and then we are good to go with Rana.
Okay, Ma. Thank you very much, Mr. Rana, for that wonderful presentation. I just want to know, what are the structures and strategy that we need to set for effective and efficient gender implementation in our societies?
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I cannot see your name because I am not very good in this social network.
Her name is Nafisatu.
Hi, Nafisa. Thank you, Nafisa. Nafisa, the first of all, we have to understand what is if you can mute the mic, please, because someone on a background. Hello?
Yeah,
Yes,
we're
sir.
getting you 5 on 5.
Okay, sorry, I thought I am cut off. Okay, first we have to understand what is the society. Mostly we take society for a different thing. Let's see if I'm a, let's talk as a woman, society about your home, society about your family, society about your mother, your sister, your son, your daughter, your husband, your partner, your brother. This is your society. So you are a leader for that society. Without election, let's call a dictatorship, or let's call a role model. I don't know I'm audible or not, because on my side I can see I'm hang.
You're quite audible.
All right, thank you. So you are the responsible for the society which is immediate affect you. So immediate effect mean the people who you met in your normal life. That is your society. So how you can make that society a positive, and how you can bring this equality in your society is by your action. Not what you believe, not what you convey. This is what and how you will act. Your act will bring the change. Your wording, your speaking, your communication, that's not will bring the change, but your action will bring the change in a society when you believe this. So this is how we build a strong society. This society will get extend. Like if you train your son, if you train your husband, if you train your daughter, your mother, if you train your colleague with your action, not by your words, if you give them respect, who they are, what they are, without any description, without any gender division, then this attitude, this society will continue to develop with peace and justice and equality. This is how one day we will change the entire society. I will give you the great example as a believer of prophets. As the believer, I'm a Muslim. Look at our example, the great example, the Muhammad, peace be upon him, the prophet of for Muslim. One small town, not even town, small city, not even a city, small gathering of people of few thousand, more than 1500 years ago, he stand for justice. He stand for equality. He stand when the period was there, the people was killing their newborn girls, babies. He stand, no, this is not something right. This is not something we believe. He changed his belief. Not his wording, his action changed the entire society. Look at the Jesus, his belief. He went all the way, every way, every culture, every society, teaching the respect. He bring respect for Maryam, a mother. So this is what, please, we have to understand that our action in our society will bring the change. Thank you.
Rana, I think Nafisatu has a concern that she needs something about maybe talking about the structures and strategies that need to be set for an efficient and effective gender implementation in our societies. So that's what she just wrote in the chat box. Maybe you add something to it.
Okay, sorry, because my internet was not working. So
Yeah,
this
good.
this is the same implement, right? We need to bring the change in ourselves first, in our thought, then in our attitude, then we have to come with a planning. We need to start standing for gender description. This is the strongest way to move forward, if I understood right.
All right, let's move on. Thank you so very much, Rana. If you equally want to get to him and more, the platform is actually there for you to connect to him through Dr. Shimanes with your questions, and she will definitely forward them over to Rana. Thank you very much. We move over to Rex. Let's keep our questions concise, straight to the point. Keep it short and simple. Rex, let's hear from you, please. Unmute your microphone.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Rosie and Rana, for your presentation. I quickly want to ask, is there a way you can not infringe on people's rights and privileges in as much as you are holding on for peace, especially in a plural society where you have a multiple religion and multiple space? Is there a way you can worship without infringing on the next person's privileges and rights?
Rana, are you there, please? Do we still have Rana? I think Dr. Shimanes, I don't know if we still have Rana on the line. Yeah, I think
we should proceed with the next speaker.
Yeah.
Rose, we can proceed with the next speaker.
Okay. I just want to plead with
the participant
Rex.
can write the question in the in the WhatsApp, and Rana sir can answer later.
Yeah, so we are asking Banjo and Rex and any other person who may want to ask questions. For time constraints, we may not be able to take these questions now. So channel it in the chat box, then we definitely would actually forward it to Rana for appropriate response. Now we are moving over. Thank you once again, Rana Basharat, for your valuable and inspiring contribution to today's session. So we are moving on to the last but not the least speaker, and the only lady speaker of the day. It is a privilege to introduce our next speaker, Ms. Manzi Sharma, an international mediator and nonviolent communication expert. Ms. Sharma is also a renowned international motivational speaker and mental well-being coach with a passion for promoting peace and mental health. As the legal executive for Global Peace Let's Talk International, she brings extensive expertise in Ghanaian thought and peace studies, making her a powerful advocate for nonviolence and justice. Today, Ms. Sharma will be presenting on the topic, Legal Foundations of Gender Justice, offering us a valuable insight into the legal frameworks that support gender equality and justice. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Manzi Sharma. The stage is yours right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rosaline. I hope I am audible to all of you. Greetings, everyone, and thank you for your time and patience, because these are topics which need a lot of attention. And I believe that gender equality or gender justice may be viewed from different point of views. It may be an all-inclusive concept wherein you're talking about everybody, whereas it can also be a concept where you talk about the marginalized, the deprived sections of the society. So today, I, being a woman representative, will be talking about how women have been deprived of their rights and an equal status, and why they have been deprived of the gender justice from times immemorials. For this, I shall be using a PowerPoint presentation, which please allow me to share. Okay, so in the meanwhile, before I set up this PowerPoint presentation, let us try to understand that when we talk about something, say justice, it has different dimensions which different people will talk about. Say you might want somebody to talk about justice from from the procedural point of view, which our first speaker had discussed. Somebody might want to discuss justice from the implications it is going to have on the society. So the other speaker had discussed it from that point of view. So different people will have different opinions regarding how justice should be administered in the society. But largely, justice means having a fair society for everybody. Is my PowerPoint presentation visible to you all?
Yes, Mansi, we can see it.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. So
Yes,
let us
please.
try to understand how law and gender justice are correlated, how in a society where largely people are driven by the legal forces, how law can ensure that there is gender justice, or whether or not law is an effective agency of ensuring that there is gender justice in the society. Before we proceed on to understand what justice means, let us understand that if we are talking about justice, definitely there is injustice in the society. By injustice, we will mean that there are unequal opportunities, discrimination, maybe some sort of violence, maybe some sort of deprivation, marginalization towards one gender. Gender does is of course a social construct, but it doesn't mean alone that you're talking about somebody being a man or woman. There are another forms of gender too, say transgender, and a good number of new social, affiliations recognized these days, who are largely deprived. And since even the females are not getting the justice, I cannot believe that those new socially emerging genders have somehow got their rights, addressed. So, if we try to understand what gender justice means, it means equity in rights and opportunities for all genders to ensure equality. Now, when I say equity, it means that at places you might have to give them some positive discrimination, as in form of reservations, in form of giving some kind of more rights than the other gender, so that they come equal to the other genders prevalent in the society. Let us stick to the male and the female genders for as of now, with due respect to all other genders which exist in the society. I appreciate their existence, but being a female, I am more concerned about how I can, contribute to the equal status of women in the society. So I shall be dealing with this discrimination as of now. So it is an umbrella term which covers all genders, not just male and female, as we've already discussed. Gender is a social construct. Whereas when you say that somebody is a male and somebody is a female, it is a biological identity. There can be more biological identities too. Gender justice includes justice in all facets of life. Say social justice, wherein both the genders should have equal status in the society. Equality, nobody should be dominating the other gender. Economic justice, as in access to resources and employment, should be equal to men and women. When we talk about political justice, there should be a right to govern, say, to join the government, also to be governed as per choice, as in to decide who is going to be the authority sitting right above you. When we talk about personal justice, it is about having right to life and liberty. This something which is in vogue with the younger generation, wherein they want to wear anything they like. They to be, they want to step out late at night, which the girls these days have been advocating that we should be given freedom with security. It should not be made like, there should be no distinction between a boy stepping out late at night and a girl stepping out late at night. Also, there should be a right to choice, as in you should be free on deciding what kind of life do you want for yourself. There should be absolute freedom for both the genders. So this falls in the category of personal justice. So all these forms of justice included together form a part of gender justice. It is not just justice up from, say, if you're just protecting one particular gender, say females from violence, it ensures gender justice. No, gender justice is a very exhaustive term. It is an inclusive term, and it means that women should get their due right, even men. But again, I'm going to focus more on the gender which has been facing a lot of injustice since times immemorials. So women, for that matter, have been facing discrimination, not just if I say in the developing countries, but also in the developed countries. Towards the end, when we discuss that there are laws protecting women in the developed countries too, you will be surprised to know that there are some forms of, say, social evils which exist in those countries, which we think are only, say, in the Indian context, we think that these will be limited to India alone. So does law ensure gender justice? What is law? Anything which, say, rule of the land, which is going to govern our actions in the personal domain as well as the social domain, implies law. Law usually comes from the social constructs, but law means that something which has to be fair to everybody, irrespective of gender, irrespective of, say, race, irrespective of any other category you fall into. So, yes, law does ensure gender justice. All around the world, there are a plethora of laws. Some were written in the constitution, some in the administrative mechanisms to ensure equal treatment to women and prevent crime against them. Yet, the outcome is not desired. We are facing a situation known as gender paradox, wherein the laws, the number of laws or the provisions to facilitate life are increasing, but the number of crimes are also proportionally increasing. So this we call gender paradox. Gender justice and laws to ensure that there is no discrimination against a particular gender, here females in particular, internationally and by different countries too, some laws have been introduced. When we talk about the international laws, these are in form of conventions or covenants which are binding on the parties, which kind of sign them or which accept them fully. So they will adopt these conventions, declarations, covenants, and then these will become functional in their countries. So internationally, there are a good number of provisions which have been, catering to the need of having a balanced justice, balanced point of view or a balanced life for both or all the genders in the society. Internationally, if we talk about, there is a Universal Declaration of Human Rights which came in 1948. The Article 223 state that there should be no discrimination based on the gender. Article 16.1 of the declaration says that men and women have equal right to marry as per their choice. The International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, 1966, Article 3 ensures that the civil and political rights are given equally to both the genders. International Covenant on Economic, Social and Cultural Rights, Article 7 ensures that women have equal access to economic empowerment. We are given the due share, as in terms of equal pay for equal work, right kind of work conditions. The International Covenant on Political Rights of Women, which came in 1954, advocated equal electoral rights, as in the right to vote for women. The Declaration on Elimination of Violence Against Women, 1993, it talked about how women are considered to be a secondary sex and they are subjected to violence by the so-called entitled superior gender of the society. Convention on Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, again, Article 1, insisted that discrimination is not just, say, in terms of physical discrimination, but also economic, social, political discrimination, and all these forms of violence or discrimination should be removed from the society. Then there was this Beijing Platform for Action 1995, which was the UN 4th World Conference on Women in Power. And it insisted that more and more women should join the power positions where they have this administrative role of deciding, of taking action for the members of the society. The Resolution 1325 on Women, Peace and Security, adopted in 2000 by Security Council, insisted that women should have a key role in peace and security initiatives taken by the United Nations. Then we also had Goal 3 on gender equality in the Millennium Development Goals. Then, of course, the Sustainable Development Goal 5, which talks about equality in terms of gender. So there are sufficient provisions which are advocating for the rights, for the equal rights for both the genders. Since I come from India, I shall be sharing something on the Indian laws which provide, equal status rather in form of equity to both men and women. The other communities or the other genders, unfortunately, have some footing, but largely many countries in the world do not yet recognize their rights on par with these two genders. So therefore, we do not have too many provisions in many countries of the world talking about their rights. In the Indian laws, when you talk about women, there are a good number of laws which have been made to ensure that women have a life of dignity. In the constitution, there is right to equality, say equality before law, to have equal opportunity to job, no discrimination in employment opportunities, then all sorts of rights which are important for women have been included in the constitution of India. Then we talk about laws which come in form of rights, say protection of women against domestic violence act, wherein even the not just the marital relationships, even the live-in relationships are the partner is protected in that form of relationship. Then Immoral Trafficking Prevention Act, we have this Dowry Prohibition Act 1961, wherein dowry or the exchange of valuable gifts relating as a consideration for marriage, as a sole consideration for marriage is prohibited. Then there can be no prevention of there can be no detection of the gender, say of the sex of the child, unborn child, because of which the people do not prefer to have a female child, they abort the female child. So this is illegal in India. The sex of the unborn child cannot be detected by the doctors. The Hindu Marriage Act provides many rights to the women. Say they can leave or seek separation from the partner if they are unhappy in a marriage. Same goes for the Succession Act 1956, which allows equal inheritance to the father's property. Then the Indian Penal Code, which is now Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, has different provisions for crime against women, wherein there are very strict punishments for the offenders. Also, I would like to mention here that in the Indian Evidence Act, which is now the Bharatiya Shakya Sanhita, which says that the character of a woman shall never be questioned, wherein there is a matter on which the rape cases are to be decided. So even the character is not to be questioned in the court of law. Then there is the Code of Criminal Procedure, now Bharatiya Nagarik Suraksha Sanhita, which provides that women cannot be arrested after the sunset and before the sunrise. And there are other such provisions, as in only a female will arrest a woman. There should be a female officer accompanying the team of police officers who are to arrest a woman. The Minimum Wages Act 1948, the Mines Act 1952, they provide for, say, good work conditions for women. There's also this Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal Act, which came in 2013, which stresses upon that the women should have a cordial atmosphere of work, for working in their respective workplaces, and they should not be harassed just because they belong to a gender which has been discriminated since times immemorials. So there are a good number of laws which are prevalent in the countries to protect the females. You will be surprised to know that the developed countries do have this the kind of dowry, social evils which we are talking about, say dowry. And it was an interesting read for me when I found that even in the United States of America, there are some laws which try to prevent dowry intake. Dowry as such is not in form of what we think of it in the South Asian context. It is in form of, say, the bride's family will pay for the entire expenses of the marriage. Even the Pregnancy Discrimination Act came in 1978, wherein the gender should not become a bias for the parents. This another in this, look at the year of this act, the second one, the Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act 2009, which is not too far away, wherein this woman named Lilly Ledbetter, she was working in a company, a tire making company, and she realized after working for a while that she is not being paid equally uh, of what her male counterparts are getting. And then she approached the court, and then this Fair Pay Act came in United States of America in 2009. Voting rights came in 1965. Even the Violence Against Women Act came in 1994. So if you think that some part of the globe is different from what you are experiencing in your own area, no. Everywhere around the world, things are going on in the same say narrative, because ironically the misinterpretation of the law of the land, or many a times of the religious texts by people for a power play, has led to a secondary position of women in the society. In the Arab countries too, you will see that there are many constitutional provisions. Penal code has strict provisions for offenses such as rape. And if we talk about Africa, women are given sufficient rights. They have signed this convention on discrimination against women, wherein it should be eliminated. Then even the forest land rights are given to women. But then where does the problem lie? If we have been fighting against discrimination since times immemorials, what is the problem which is leading to gender injustice? Somebody had questioned in between that there's some yes, there are indices which are in place. Say the United Nations comes up with this gender inequality index, wherein say the Scandinavian countries like Norway, and all these are the top leading countries in terms of equality, whereas the worst performing, as far as I remember, in the last such survey was Yemen. I am not sure, but I just have this fair idea on which particular country had was on the last in the list. And it takes into consideration, say there are 3 parameters, wherein there is some reproductive health, the economic access, the social status. These kind of 3 parameters are considered in it. And of course the gender inequality index is globally reported every year by the United Nations. But despite of these many efforts, despite of having laws in place, why are why have we not been able to establish a society based on equality? The reason is that still, ironically, we live in a male dominated era. Women are trying to build, still, even in this generation, women are creating spaces for themselves. There are no natural spaces left for them, say as in we try to make a mark for ourselves, though things have improved over the years, but still we are not on an equal footing with our male counterparts. Then yes, there are laws in place, but laws have been implemented poorly. If there are, say if we talk about any country, if there are laws in place preventing rapes, then why do rapes take place? Because the implementation is poor. Implementation doesn't only include how these matters are dealt with, it also includes whether these cases are reported or not, whether there is an atmosphere in a society wherein the women can go and report these cases without shame. Then there is also lack of legal awareness in women, what all rights are available to them. Then, of course, the societal setup, which is reflected in 3 F's, the fear of reputation. Whenever there is a crime against women, usually the women are blamed. It may be in terms of the liberty they have taken, maybe for the clothes they are wearing, maybe the kind of, sometimes they're even blamed if they have this if they are very articulate
Stepping
about
out late, Stepping out late at night.
Yes, stepping out late at night, right? Definitely. Because and also wearing a particular form of clothes, they are judged for that. Then there is a freedom, there's lack of freedom for women, because again that will harm their reputation. Then there is no faith in the system. If even there are laws in place, we feel that the people who are there in the administrative mechanism will favor the offender somehow instead of the victim. And many a cases, you see, not just in India, even around the world, are say withdrawn because of the pressures of such authorities. So because of these, it has become very, very difficult to ensure that women get their rights. But still, do you think that nothing can be done? No, hope sustains life. Even if there are legal provisions, we can make sure that their implementation is strengthened. How? For that, say women organizations can take some action. One such form, of course, like Dr. Shiminaz has adopted, is that making people aware of how gender bias exists in the society. So this implement this kind of aids the implementation when women become aware of their rights. Then if in a country there are no laws, then the law should be formed. And again, here the women right activists can play a very crucial role to get such laws in place. Then of course there is a larger dimension to it, that we need to change the society, because it is not the law which is going to bring about a change in the society. Say recently, in our country there was this mishappening wherein a medico became victim of violence. I would not like to get into the details of it. So a medico, of course, is educated. The people around the place she was working in were educated, but is education enough? No. People are forgetting that education only equips you to deal with the challenges the world gives you. It doesn't make you a human. For that humanity, you need to learn the value system. You need to have some ethics. You need to understand that humanity is the biggest lesson which you can get from your life. So education should include some moral grounding for children right at the beginning. Then legal knowledge for women. They should have access to laws. They should be knowing how to interpret those laws. They should be aware of what all laws exist in place. A good number of women do not even know how can they prevent themselves from, say, dowry related violence. Then fighting the stereotypes. I often in my classes ask this question to my students. Say if you think of a particular task is meant only for women, say in the Indian context, if I have to talk about, if cooking is only limited to women, taking care of children and these all those chores related to home are meant for these chores are meant for women alone, then and then you think of them as secondary because women are doing them, then you're building a stereotype. You're looking at some form of work as inferior to the other. Say if men are going out, they're working in some organization earning money, the women are doing an equally compatible job by handling the homes. Imagine if there's nobody to handle the home, how will that life become come in be balanced? So there should be no stereotypes related to work at all. A homemaker is on an equal footing to a man working outside. And the this home related work is not even reported in the say whenever we come out with this domestic this economic development indices. So it is not even reported. The income generated in these is not even counted. So this means that you are building a stereotype wherein one kind of work is considered inferior to the other. So such kind of stereotypes should be removed. Ironically, you will realize that though in many countries these home related chores are considered to be meant for women alone, many chefs, the Michelin star chefs, are men. So these stereotypes have no these are immaterial in the society. Then gender sensitization, wherein you should teach men how to be kind and respectful to women. You see, in many societies, it is taken for granted that the patriarch is going to decide everything. No, there should be a discussion. I wouldn't even say that let women decide alone. No, let there be a discussion in the families. Let there be a discussion in the society, and everybody's opinion should matter. Then there should be steps taken for financial independence of women, say in form of self-help groups, which is very, very popular in India, where women come together, they earn some skill, they learn some skills and earn through it, right? Say suppose they learn the art of knitting, or they learn how to dye clothes. So they will come up in groups, invest their savings, and together these savings will give them a bulk amount to buy some resource material, and then they will create something skillfully and sell it in the market and earn something for themselves. So these self-help groups can ensure that there is financial independence for women. Then self-defense training is very, very important, because violence against women, say whether it be in form of eve teasing, whether it be in form of such heinous crimes as rape, is a result of a mentality that women's body is inferior to a male body and can be defiled through the actions of a male. So self-defense training will not just ensure women that they have strength, it will also equip them to fight such immoral people existing in the society living amongst us. Then nutrition and health, it is very common everywhere that women ignore their own health and they will give others to eat. Say the men should eat first and they should get more nutritious things. I can do without the nutrition. How? No. As Rana sir was talking right before me, men and women, for them hunger is same, every other, say, natural instinct is same. Then why do women deprive themselves of the nutrition? The girls should focus more on becoming healthy, rather than looking, say, looking beauty alone is not a standard. Rather than having those slim waist wherein you can where to get them you are fainting, you don't even have that nutrition inside your body. Strengthen your body. It is a vehicle through which you're going to perform the functions of your life. It is not meant to be a form of an eye candy to others, right? So nutrition and health should be taken care of. Then non-violent communication. Non-violent communication, as we have been assisting in different courses as well in the programs, that non-violent communication is about transformation of one's heart, understanding that human values are important. So if people start adopting non-violent communication as a life-sustaining skill, we will see lesser anger, lesser rage, and we will see less negativity in the society. So these are the things which can be done, which must be done, so that we ensure that society at large changes. But since we are all sharing a platform with the Global Peace Let's Talk, what can we do as a team GPLT? We as a team can organize legal awareness sessions in different countries for women in particular, maybe any other deprived gender. Then self-defense and nutrition training can be provided to them. Also mental well-being training, which I'm already running, can be provided to them, so that they feel no less than the male counterparts. Then literacy campaigns. In many countries, there are women who are even deprived of literacy. So literacy campaigns can be run through the platform GPLT. We can connect with different countries, different areas. Then emergency contact channels can be established for them with the help of GPLT. Say we connect with the people, we give them numbers of the officials which are available. We can display them on the with our local volunteers or ambassadors. Then as an international platform, we can also raise the issue with the governments. We can write, send them memorandums, we can send them letters addressing these issues, which is necessary, because people will understand the importance of this issue only and only when it is raised time and again. Before I came across this very this moving picture on Facebook. It says that women before 1970s couldn't have credit cards, couldn't lease property, they couldn't attend military academies, they couldn't be astronauts, they couldn't be jury members, they didn't even have any paid maternity leave. There were no CEOs, they could not even adopt babies, and they had no choice of, say, of clothes. So I think it is high time that we understand that gender equality means that first women and other genders should get their rights, and then we talk about every other form of equality, which should be a neutral stance. Once everybody has come on an equal footing, then only we can say that, say, all genders should not be, should not be discriminated against. But largely, until and unless we have brought them to an equal platform, we will have to keep talking about the marginalized section of the society. So this is my presentation on, from the legal aspect, what gender justice will mean. And I believe that laws are there in place. What we need to do is to ensure that they are implemented well, they are known well to the women, and also women come together collectively to ensure their own security, their own well-being, not just in one part of the world but everywhere around the world. Herein we need to just get over those insecurities or any form of, say, fear, and come together, help the other women to rise and take action. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you so much. We are not going back. We are definitely not going back. I join Ms. Manzi Sharma in that actually key word. I put it that way. For such a very insightful and thought-provoking presentation. Your expertise in nonviolence communication, your deep understanding of the legal foundations supporting gender equality have provided us, of course, with a comprehensive view of how legal frameworks can drive social justice. And of course, I will not fail to mention that your passion for peace and gender justice has truly shown thorough, offering us practical knowledge and inspiration. And of course, before I invite Dr. Shimanes, I see a name. I don't know if it's the Dr. Shimanes we know. I see the first question that came before even you went into the middle of your presentation. What is the role of the judiciary in gender justice?
It is by Dr. Priya Soni Khare.
I see. Okay. So, Dr. Shimanes, what is the role of the judiciary in gender justice?
This Mansi can answer. This is
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Ms.
not
Mansi
my
Sharma, sorry.
Well, of course, when we have been talking about how law plays a crucial role in ensuring gender justice, because through legal agencies, the justice mechanism works. So, if there is a law in place, you can go to the courts as a matter of right. And since the judiciary is meant to interpret the law, the function of the judiciary is to interpret law. The judges are the agencies through which these laws are enforced first, interpreted and enforcement. So the judicial system has a very crucial role in this. If these laws are rightly interpreted and the judges have the intellect to understand what all circumstances and what all, say, repercussions will arise out of any incident, then a woman can be protected to a much larger extent. Say, when the judiciary takes action, which we call judicial activism, many things, say, the entire right to life in our constitution has been built on the judicial activism. So judiciary has a very crucial interpretation of the law. And once judiciary ensures that there is protection which needs to be given to a victim, nobody can stop that protection. So judges are in a form of, they are kind of social activists which are ensuring that women get their due share in the society.
Excellent. We have a hand raised up. Can you please unmute your microphone and just ask that question you actually have in mind?
Me, Rosa, I want to ask one thing.
All right.
Mansi, you have talked about Hindu Succession Act 1956. Similarly, there is a law to inherit property in Islam for women. But don't you think not many women take advantage of it? We don't see women taking advantage of these act or these rules, even by the religion. If there is, what is the reason behind it? Are women not aware of these laws, or they feel a little bit hesitant uh, to fight against the male, maybe their brothers or father, about the property? Because we don't see many example of women taking advantage of this right to inherit property.
Yes, ma'am. One such reason for this in our context is that the dowry system has not been addressed properly. So, though there are laws in place, but in the name of marriage, a lot is given to say a girl in the family, and usually people think that when you're dividing a property, you are supposed to give the girl everything in her marriage, and everything else belongs to the son. So this kind of mindset, of course, it is kind of something which hinders the progress of women in ensuring that they take equal rights. Also, secondly, that women are the stereotypes are such that they have been told that you are the epitomes of sacrifice. You need to sacrifice everything, even your life, for the sake of, say, your family, your friends. And this has been fed into the minds of women. So largely they are hesitant in asking for something like this, which if you go on a philosophical level, you will find that people will say that these things are immaterial, the relationships are more important, and you should not look into these material aspects. So these value system, I would say, rather appreciate women for that their value system is strong, they're not materialistic. But at the same time, if you feel that you've been discriminated against, you should not step back from taking your rights, because once this equality is established in the society, only then the generations to come will understand that having a girl child and having a boy child is an equal thing. There is no difference between having a girl child and a boy child. And at the same time, I would like to add that this also means that the responsibilities which have been given to a boy, to a male child, should also be given in a family to a female child, and not just the inheritance rights alone. See, if a male child in a family is considered responsible for the well-being of the parents at a particular stage, where they're not able to look after themselves, the females should also be equally considered responsible. And in a social setup, it should not be thought of that once the girl is married, she has no responsibility towards her parental home. So through these changes, we can kind of come out of this scenario wherein women can think of having equal rights. So it calls for a larger social change, because legal change has already taken place. The law has given women right. If they want to take that right, it should not be considered offensive in the society, and for this the mindset must change. So for the change of mindset, the equal responsibilities are important.
Okay, just one last question from Tina Jones, who first of all started with the comments that I think there is need for mental well-being training, trauma-informed training, and psychological safety education. Non-violence communication is needed, even how women communicate to each other. Now, this is her question. Are there effective or sufficient laws in place in India?
Yes, there are laws protecting cyber crimes in India. There are many laws through which, say, indecent representation of women can be also tackled. But again, since it is difficult to, these people do not report. Rather, women feel ashamed of reporting such crimes. Not just in India, everywhere around the world, the scenario is same. So since they are not reported, it becomes a matter of shame for the family rather. So see, until and unless a crime is reported, you cannot deal with it. So reporting of the crime is very important, because it will remain with the women as a mental trauma. So a closure can come through reporting of the crime, through ensuring that the agencies work in the right direction, and the culprit is caught hold of. Right? Yes, Tina, there are laws in our country, and the problem is this only, that there are laws, but either they are not utilized properly or they are not implemented properly.
All right, I take
Mansi,
us to this. Let me just take us to this one because she actually
Rosa, I
took
want to
out.
just mention one thing.
All right.
Mansi, in my state, UP, for many years there was a project called as Mission Shakti, and in that under that project, all the female schools and colleges where they celebrated a week of Mission Shakti, and in which lots of training were given related to self-defense, related to protection against the cyber crimes. So there are lots of things which are happening in India also, but the thing is that not everybody is aware of it. This is also one of the reasons.
Right.
All right, thank you very
So
much.
I think together we can build this awareness. Sure.
All right. I just want to bring to your notice, Ms. Mansi Sharma, about a very pertinent issue here raised by Sangram Dinde, where she says, despite laws designed to protect women and ensure their rights, many workplaces still fail to implement them effectively. Like in some cases, these laws are ignored, sidelined, or treated as mere formalities. So this reflects a deeper issue of cultural resistance, lack of awareness, and at times inadequate enforcement mechanisms. So it is not enough to have laws on paper. There must be accountability, regular monitoring, and a shift in workplace culture that genuinely promotes respect, equality, and zero tolerance for discrimination or harassment. For real change, both leaders and employers or employees must be educated, and organizations should be actively working towards creative, inclusive environments where these laws are respected and upheld. Only then will the workplace become a truly fair and equitable space for women. So just to give one small example, many organizations or institutions deny maternity leave, though sanctioned by law in India. So what do you think?
See, for that, you need to approach the courts, because whether we talk, in India, we have a Supreme Court sitting on the high courts, which belong to a particular state. And even today, I was reading a judgment wherein one of the courts from one of the states had addressed that maternity leave is a matter of right, and that to paid maternity leave is a matter of right. And no organization, irrespective of the nature of the work of the individual, say the women, in whatever capacity she is working, can deprive the women of the right to maternity leave, because it is a basic human right. This is how the world survives. We are not just talking about one country or one family. This is how, through this procreation, the world survives. So the courts here have been enabling women to get get their rights. But then again, women are hesitant in coming forward, and they should. And this, of course, the primary reason again is the lack of awareness, and that is why I suggested this as a measure wherein we can look into the laws of different countries, and through GPLT raise this awareness campaign in different countries for the women who are there, who are not even aware of what rights exist for them. And I saw this question. There are a good number of rights for women. Say, right to marry. There is right to choice of employment, right to have a good employment condition, and if you're a mother, to have those necessary condition, provisions given to you. If your child is doesn't have any caretaker, the organizations are bound to provide you some kind of facilities where your child can be taken care of. So there are many.
There is child care leave also, Mansi. There is child care leave
Yes,
also.
there is child care leave in India. Yes, ma'am. There is. Yes.
All right, can we quickly have the hand of Meza Ahmed? Just straight to the point. We just have like 12 minutes to end this session.
Thank you very much. Congratulations to Dr. Mansi Sharma for a wonderful deliberation. However, there is one thing that is not very clear to me. Like, while women rights are undoubtedly important, and they are respected, though there is some kind of upsetting incidences, in the patriarchal social setup. Still, now if we look at the other side of the coin, there are a lot many cases. There are rising cases of men being, brought under some kind of, violences, some kind of harassment by women in spousal relationships. I would like to know from the Honorable Speaker if there are some legal provisions to combat those issues when a husband is being harassed by a woman, by his wife.
Right. So, if you're talking about which country do you come from, if I may ask,
I'm
because
from
if
India.
you're
I'm
from
from
India,
India.
I can clarify.
Yeah.
Oh yes, sir. So if you talk about the penal provisions in India, there's this cruelty, under which men can take refuge, and it is not a gender discriminated offense in India. So men can also take it as a ground for divorce. And when it comes to reporting of the cases, say violence related cases, there are procedural mechanisms through which men can ensure that they are not harmed, right? As in, yes, of course I agree that because these laws are misused, then it leads to some kind of harassment to men. Say if I
No,
have
my
if I have a law favoring me, if yes, through the legal agencies, these it can be ensured that men are protected, right? The misuse can be protected. And if say there is sufficient, the I remember a few years back the Supreme Court had given directions that whenever you are arresting in cases of dowry, whenever you are arresting in cases of domestic violence, whenever you are arresting in cases of cruelty, make sure that the proper investigation has been done right before, and the family of the say the boy in the relationship, or the male member is not suffering unnecessarily. So there are guidelines, but then again the problem is that the implementation mechanism is poor. Say if you
that
give
is
some
what
money. Yes.
that is what I wanted to come to. Like, I'm raising this question because some of my friends, are facing this kind of issues, which are very, very genuine, and these issues are, leading to the collapse of the relationship, not only between the husband and the wife, but also the children. They become the victims. And when
Yes.
when it comes to reporting to the police also seems to be siding with the woman, no, who is harassing the man. So those issues, they also crop up. So
No.
legal provision. I was trying to understand from you the legal provisions that a man being harassed, a husband being harassed, could take refuge to.
Yes, there are provisions, so you can approach, say, judiciary directly too. Because if you talk about the Indian Constitution, there are rights which are given in the form of, say, writs. These
Yeah.
writs can be availed. There are rights if you go through this criminal procedure law or the civil procedure law. There are a good number of defense mechanism meant for protecting men also. Even the specific laws, the special laws which we call, say, the Domestic Violence Act and other laws, they require proper investigation through agencies, right? So it is not that it is the misuse of such power which of course leads to these kind of cases becoming more and more frequent in the society, but there are still mechanisms through which one can ensure that one is protected. Again, of course I will insist here that it depends more on the integrity of the people, and for this we require a social change. And that is why at GPLT we are running these programs on non-violent communication, not just for people, but we're also running them for judges, for police administration, for people in bureaucracy. And I train such judicial officers. Even Dr. Vedavyas trains such officers in the art of non-violent communication, so that they become more of human beings. The need of the hour is that we invoke the human principles inside us rather than just
Gender
educating us.
neutral law. Gender
Yes.
neutral law.
Yes, ma'am. If we talk about laws, they are, if you interpret them rightly, they are to a large extent gender neutral. Rather, they only in form of equity for women, right? But it is through the
But Mansi,
administrative.
there is a dowry law in which many men have suffered. Farooq sir, do you remember one of the English professor from Nagpur, Maharashtra? He was a
Yes,
victim
yes,
of a dowry case. Now you remember,
yes,
sir, your friend from the
yes,
English
yes, yes,
fraternity.
yes. Yeah, that is,
Yeah.
these are some of the reasons
Um,
why recently one of my friends, he's also university
and he's
professor,
not
and then he's
means
undergoing.
we know him personally from a long time, and he
Yeah,
was a victim of dowry act.
yes,
But
yes.
even
So,
say it is because once you go to the, say if I want to report an offense, I'll go to the police station, I'll just get this all these things registered. But there is lack of knowledge on the part of the administrative machinery too many a times, you see.
mm,
Not to be judgmental about people, but many a times even the people, the policemen who are sitting, who are standing on the roads, are not aware of what law says. And this is
mm,
kind of which is unfair to people. They will not even
mm,
know the provisions of the laws. They will just
mm,
know that this fine is to be given for this. They will not even know how
mm,
this fine is to be availed. They deprive
mm,
the individual even of the dignity. They start
mm,
treating somebody as a criminal. So, and though the law says that until something is proven, you cannot treat the person as a criminal until and
mm,
unless something has been proven in the courtroom. So, even in the dowry law, if you read the definition itself, it says clearly that if it relates to the, if it is the sole consideration for marriage, if
mm,
it is the reason for marriage, only then it is to be considered as dowry. So
mm,
the of course the good lawyers will take advantage of it and prove that it was not the condition of of marriage. But here, because people they do not have knowledge, even many times even in the law machinery, people are not so aware. Then they will not be able to understand that the law says so. To that is why I have insisted that you should be vigilant enough yourself. Law is something which every individual must know. It is not just meant for the advocates or the judges alone. If you do not know the law of the land of a country in which you're residing, whether it be India, whether it be United States or Somalia or DRC or anywhere, you are living uninformed lifestyle, which should not be the case. You should know your rights before you can avail something from the machinery, right? So in these cases too, if you are aware, you can ensure that you come out safely, though some kind of harassment might take place because of the people in the machinery. But if you're aware of what law says, you will come out of it for sure. This I have experienced during my courtroom experiences.
Thank you, Ms. Mansi Sharma. We are actually way behind time, and maybe just this one comment from Roseline, who says she needs some clarification that you may have laws, but if awareness is not created enough and people are not aware of the laws, the people will continue to commit crimes. And of course, she stressed that the importance of awareness creation on important issues, especially violence against women and girls, in our little ways can help us. She cautions that we should keep informing the general population, especially those in rural areas, about the laws protecting women, and it can help to reduce the occurrences of violence against women. So, and of course, Tina adds that we not only need physical laws of protection, we need psychological safety for autonomy to survive in patriarchal systemic societies. And US, for example, is a world leader, yet we have never elected a female president. So these are some of the comments that have actually session. I think we should hear from Dr. Nikki, the Chief Executive, just for a minute, and then we can draw this session to a close. Thank you so much, so very much, Ms. Manzi. That has really been insightful, and we think if you already see some of these things cropping up, it looks like we are going to organize a panel discussion sometime in the future to talk about practical experiences and its application on the field. So let's
Definitely.
hear from Dr. Nikki. Thank you so much, Ms. Manzi. Can you warm your seat?
Thank you.
Let's hear from Dr. Nikki. If our mother is in the house, let's hear from her for a minute, and then we wrap up.
I am absolutely speechless. We've had the most phenomenal guest speakers today. I just want to say thank you so much to all three of you. You were absolutely awesome, and I'm sure everybody will agree with me. We'll appreciate your feedback so that we can put the spotlight on our speakers because they've truly been phenomenal. Thank you, Rosalind, for being such a wonderful leader.
Thank you, everyone. It was a
Thank
wonderful
you.
session.
Can we have any announcements from the project coordinator, Dr. Shimanes, if there is any?
No, just we will be doing another session on next week.
Thank you. My name is Isa Al-Musai from Nigeria, but I did not sign attendance.
Activate our cameras for
Rosa,
some
is
pictures?
it still live? Please end the live.
to everyone.
Yes, we are still live. I just want to close the session, but to call on everyone to unmute or to activate their cameras for some pictures, please. Can you please activate your cameras just for a minute and let's have our brand executive take some pictures for us. And just to close by saying that today's session has been really enlightening, and I would like to express my deepest appreciation to our esteemed speakers for their valuable insights and contributions. From exploring the intricate connections between gender justice, law, and global peace, especially hearing about the inspiring work being done in conflict zones and beyond. Today's discussion have undoubtedly broadened our understanding and inspired us all. To our participants, thank you for your engagement and thoughtful questions. Your active involvement is what makes the sessions truly impactful. I hope your knowledge shared today empowers you in your own journeys towards promoting justice, equality, and peace. And as we continue to reflect on what we've learned today, let's remember that the pursuit of gender equality and justice is not just an idea, but a shared responsibility. So I encourage each and every one of us to carry these lessons forward to our respective spaces, contributing in your own way to build a more just and inclusive world. Once again, I want to thank our speakers, participants, and the coordinating team, and of course, the mother of the chief executive group, which of course is Dr. Nikki, who has been acting behind the scenes to make sure this session is possible. So I look forward to seeing us on next week, same time. Until then, stay safe and continue activating for peace and justice when it comes to gender issues. Thank you and have a wonderful day and evening or morning, wherever you find yourself. Have a very, 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 very nice time.
Thank you, Ma. Bye bye. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Shimanes, for everything.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hello.
We
Thank you.
officially call
Bye-bye.
the session to a close. Bye-bye. Thank you, Dr. Nikki, for everything.
Bye-bye. See you next Saturday.
Bye.
Nargiza, today Nadira was not there. Nargiza, today Nadira was not there.